Welcome to another Hardrocker Highlights with Coach Dan Kratzer. This is Tom Rudebusch, and we review the Hardrockers game against Minot State, and we'll look ahead to the game upcoming here at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium against Dickinson State. And Dan, first of all, congratulations on the team's fifth straight win. You moved up to number 12 in the poll, 5-0 in the conference, along with Black Hill State, 6-1 overall. And Dan, at the beginning of the season, I know the team's goal was a conference championship, and you've certainly put yourself in position to control that destiny.
Well, the kids have been focused on that, and you have to be able to win the close ones, and you have to be able to win on the road. And so, we've been able to do that thus far, and it's a good feeling finishing the conference schedule and finishing the regular season schedule at home. And it gives us a little bit extra practice time, and it gives us that familiarity of, the kids sleeping in their own beds and all those kind of things. But it really hasn't seemed to matter this year. These guys are so focused on the task at hand that it's been a real pleasure working with them.
You went up to Minot. You won your fourth road game of the season. You're 4-0 on the road. It was a 10-6 hard-fought game, Dan. Talk a little bit about the game and how much, I was wondering, how much did that win? Because it was whipping at 30, 35 miles per hour across the field. How much did that affect both your offense and the offense for Minot State?
Well, I don't think it affected the offenses as much as it did the kicking game. And, obviously one of the choices was to, take the wind if we had the opportunity to early because of field position, and that turned out to be the key factor. Was field position on special teams was probably more important than we actually had our best passing completions and our longest pass against the wind, and they did too. So it becomes more of a factor in the kicking game and special teams than it really does unless you let it get into your head with the offense.
Minot has been a tough opponent for us for many, many years. Just give us what you thought outside of the victory, obviously. What pleased you most about the way your team competed?
Well, I think the effort in the entire ball game. I think one of the first things that obviously was obvious was the way the game started. The first play from scrimmage, Brian Kimnitz tackles the running back for a loss. A lot of those 2-yard gains would have been 7-yard gains. So, when you get down and sit and watch it on film, it's a lot different, and you're so close to making things happen every possession. And but that's what you have to do, as you get better and as you play better teams, and the expectations rise. And so, when we ended up with a little over 225 yards, I think, total offense, but we only had 80 on the ground. And I told you we needed to be able to run the ball to beat this team. And so, but we're a complete team, thank goodness, and we have a defense that can get us field position. We have a defense that can score. They haven't intercepted the pass and ran it back for a touchdown yet, but that can happen. They almost scooped one up and ran it in for a touchdown on the sack and the fumble. Those are the kind of things that you hope play on one another. If the defense is doing real well, you hope the offense can step it up and complement the defense too. And one of the things that we didn't realize as the game progressed, we had the ball for over 33 minutes of the ball game, and they only had it for 19. And it seemed like we were just going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. But evidently we were doing a little bit better job of managing the clock than they were. And in those kind of games, that's important. It comes down to the last few seconds sometimes.
Let's talk about my favorite play of the game. The Hardrockers have it 4th down, and I think it was 4 yards to go at the 39-yard line of Minot State. At this point, you're ahead 7-3. No, I'm sorry, it's a 10-6 at this point. And you call a fake punt. It works out beautifully. It ices the game.
Here's the snap. It's a fake. The pass over the middle. It's caught. It's going to be a first down for Eric Yates to the 15-yard line. What a fake!
talk about what led up to your thinking in calling the fake punt, and how often do you practice plays like this, and what was your feeling when you saw it develop?
Well, you know, the thing is, you have to have proper preparation, or these things don't work. And you know, Coach Messick, our special teams coordinator, has put in a fake run and a fake punt or a fake pass on the punt since day one. So we practice this thing at least 4 times a week, every week since two-a-days started. So sooner or later, you want that right opportunity to make it work, and this was the time. You know, we didn't get the first down that we needed, and we needed 4 yards, and we just felt confident at that point in time that hey, this is the time to do it. Let's run it. We ran the pass version of it. Guy went in motion. The guy ran with him. Eric Ish was uncovered as he went right up the seam, and Trevor Roberts, being an old quarterback, was able to get rid of the ball quickly and right to Eric. And you know, only thing that would have been better is if he could have maneuvered Lester and scored. But
we'll have to work with Eric, that linebacker, and his running in the open field there. He only had one man to beat, but certainly an exciting play. I think it's a play then that kind of shows you talk about a complete team. Well, the special teams came up with a big play there, and certainly did some good things. So an exciting win up in Minot. Now we return home, and you take on a Blue Hawk team from Dickinson that's certainly going to be in a owly mood after they were beaten at home 19-13 by Black Hill State. So they're 4-1 in the league, 1 game behind the Hardrockers. And Dan, Dickinson's a game that we played very, very tough last year. And tell us about their team and what makes them year in and year out so tough.
Well, you look at their roster, and I mean, you know, they've got 9 guys back on defense, and offense is the same way. And look at their roster; they're not playing many freshmen. And a matter of fact, on defense, I don't believe they even have a sophomore playing right now. So you're talking about an upper level team has been redshirting 25, 30 kids a year every year for the last probably 20 years, and you know, the coach has been there. Hank's been there for over 25 years, I think, and so that kind of consistent helps the program, and they've been able to stay on top, and that's not something that's easy to do. But you know, we've got our same players back that played them last year, and you know, we went in halftime last year with I think a 14-3 lead, and couldn't hang on to it. But we're a little different team. We're a little better team. They're a little bit better team than they were last year also, and so we're you know, we're focused on trying to do the things we have to do, and we've got to move the ball more efficiently against them than we did against Minot last week, and that's going to be a key factor in controlling things. Our defense will be ready. You know, they're primarily a run type offense, and if they can run on this defense, well, you know, kudos to them. But and I'm sure we're not going to shut them out minus 4 yards like we did Minot, but we would take plus 4 yards for the game. Yeah.
Well,
or anything close to that.
I think if you do that, your odds of winning are pretty darn good. Well, it'll be this Saturday, the Hardrockers and Dickinson State, and kickoff time at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium is 1 p.m. And our coverage on the Hills 97.5 and on the internet at kkls.net, or you can go to the Hardrocker website at gorockers.com and link on to the audio broadcast, and of course the B2 broadcast also available on the Hardrocker network. So thank you to Dan Kratzer for this week's edition of Hardrocker Highlights. It's the Hardrockers and Dickinson State this Saturday. We'll see you then at Dunham Field.